he's finally gone. What a stubborn old man he was. There's a lot of inheritance, right? Maybe we should buy a luxury high-rise condo. When my father-in-law passed away, my husband and mother-in-law casually threw out such heartless words. How could they speak so ill of my father-in-law who had been so kind? While I had been enduring the harassment by my husband and mother-in-law, he had been my only ally. Thus, I couldn't forgive the two of them, Rob and his mother. However, I had an ace up my sleeve to bring them down. Excuse me, could I have a word with both of you? My name is Angela, I am 45 years old. I have been married to Rob for about 20 years. We met in college where Rob was a senior 2 years ahead of me. Rob was quite famous in college as the son of a major company's president. Even then, he was very popular among many women. I thought I didn't stand a chance. I had accepted that I would never be close to the son of a president. So I was just happy to get along as juniors and seniors. However, Rob confessed to me because he liked the homeliness of a girl raised in an ordinary family. I was surprised at the time and had my doubts. But I respected him because he was kind and knew a lot that I didn't. So, I happily agreed. He took me to restaurants and on overseas trips I had never been to before, making me feel like I was living a dream. We continued our relationship and eventually got married, starting our life in his family home. I was able to spend my time with my in-laws without much trouble. But I couldn't say we were very close. My father-in-law was very strict, truly feeling like the president of a major company. He was harsh on both himself and others, having built his company from scratch. My father has always been incredibly strict, and I didn't really like him. He wouldn't be satisfied even with my perfect test scores, and it was the same with sports. I can't even remember how many hours I studied. We had a tutor coming home every day. Rob often complained about those things. All I thought was that being the son of a president must be tough. And, my mother-in-law was also quite a character. Look, Angela, this is the new Hermes bag. It cost $15,000, but it's so cute I just had to buy it. Oh, that's lovely. She seemed to be quite lavish, always sporting new branded bags and clothes. Then, about 15 years into our marriage, something strange happened to my father-in-law. It happened during a meal. Clank. The spoon he was holding fell. After visiting the hospital, he was diagnosed with ALS. A terrifying disease that progressively immobilizes the body, eventually leading to being bedridden and death. I'm entrusting you with the presidency. Okay, Dad, rest easy from now on. Unable to work, my father-in-law stepped down, and my husband Rob took over as president. I thought Rob and my mother-in-law would be saddened by his illness. But strangely, their life didn't change much, revealing their true nature. Father-in-law quickly became unable to walk, ending up in a wheelchair. Angela, thank you for coming and helping me. Oh, don't worry about it. I used to live with my grandparents and have some experience in caregiving. Though it was just helping out since I was still a student. That's reassuring. I actively got involved in taking care of him, even though a helper came during the day to assist. Seeing that, Rob said to me, Angela, you really like doing odd things, don't you? Just leave the old man alone. What? That's your father. Show a little concern. No way. I never got anything good from Dad. Why should I have to take care of him? You shouldn't say things like that. Despite being his own parent, I felt a distrust towards my husband, who was so cold-hearted. It seemed he had always resented being raised so strictly, and had no intention of caring for his father. And it was the same with his mother. I can't do caregiving. It's dirty. He's already old, his body odor is strong. And I don't even want to get close, let alone take care of his personal hygiene. Is that so? I was saddened to think that after decades of marriage, that was the outcome. However, I couldn't let my father-in-law see that side of them. So I continued caring for him without thinking about the two. The weather is nice today. Would you like to go for a walk outside? That sounds nice. I began walking in the garden, pushing his wheelchair. If you're busy, you don't have to bother with an old man like me. No, please don't worry. I enjoy doing this. I had a reason for caring so much for my father-in-law. I had accidentally seen it. When he was sleeping, I dropped a diary from his desk. It was filled with his fears and struggles of becoming immobile. However, he never showed those emotions, remaining stoic. I just couldn't leave him alone because of that. It's gotten quite warm, hasn't it? Look, the flowers are blooming. Indeed, they're very beautiful. We often went on walks, shared meals, and spent quiet times together. However, time was cruel, and my father-in-law gradually became less mobile, eventually becoming unable to speak at all. We communicated only through the movement of his eyes. Using a letterboard, we somehow managed to communicate through his eye movements. It's nice weather again today, isn't it? One blink was the sign for yes. He could no longer express himself or nod. Just then, I overheard Rob and his mother speaking. When will that old man finally die? If only he'd hurry up and die, we'd get the money. Exactly. That's the only reason I've put up with this marriage for so long. Just a little longer now. They didn't realize we were nearby and spoke their minds freely. I couldn't stand their horrible conversation and was about to move away when Rob noticed me. Oh, isn't that Angela? What are you doing here? Rob. Oh, she's here too. Really, living in such a state. What a stubborn person. Hey. How can you say such things? Oh, come on. We've been holding our tongues for so long. Besides, he can't talk anymore, and he doesn't know what we're saying. Exactly, if only he'd hurry up and give us the money. Right, Angela? Once we get the inheritance, we could buy a luxury high-rise condo. And Mom, you want a comfortable life too, right? This house is getting old anyway. That sounds good indeed. Please stop talking about that in front of him. I couldn't hold back anymore and raised my voice. Oh, playing the good person now, huh? Well, let's go, we're leaving. Saying that, the two of them left. I wondered how my father-in-law felt, hearing such things without changing his expression. It was infuriating. To think that both his wife and son would treat him that way, despite his being a strict man, was just too much. He had never been abusive or anything like that. I couldn't come up with a good response, and all I could do was quietly return home. His disease was progressive, and his condition worsened rapidly. Eventually, he became bedridden and needed 2 people just to move him to a wheelchair. Yet, he was still able to communicate with his eyes, and I visited his room daily to keep him company. Recently, I haven't been talking much with Rob. Always, time, okay? Oh, I haven't been speaking with Rob lately. He seems really irritated. It seems like his work isn't going well. It's been a bit tough being around him, and I find it easier to talk with you. I'm sorry for complaining. I took advantage of his silent listening to vent occasionally. After all, being raised in an ordinary family, my sense of money was very different from Rob's. And I didn't get along with my mother-in-law either. Maybe I was out of place after all, but it's too late to think about that now. Call my secretary. Understood. I'll contact him. Even bedridden, my father-in-law occasionally worried about work and seemed to be inquiring about the company through his former secretary. He had been a stern man but was well respected, and people at the company, including his secretary, trusted him. He truly worked almost until his last moments. Please hang in there, father. He caught a cold that worsened his condition, and he had to be hospitalized with pneumonia. I held his hand as he wore an oxygen mask. He had lost a lot of weight. As he was, he never woke up again. The funeral was held grandly. People from the company, and others he had dealt with while president, came to pay their respects. It was a funeral that made me realize once again how much he was trusted and respected. And just after the grand funeral, upon returning home, Rob and his mother immediately started discussing the inheritance. He's finally dead. Now that the funeral is over, all that's left is to get the money. It really took a long time, didn't it? Angela, taking care of an old man must have been tiring. Dad's inheritance is about $5 million, right? With that kind of money, buying a luxury high-rise condo would be easy. Yes, I might go abroad for a vacation. Angela, isn't there something you want? If there's anything you want to buy, I'll get it for you. As they talked excitedly about their future plans, I finally spoke up. Excuse me, can I say something? What is it, Angela? You look so serious. My father-in-law left a will. I'd like you to check it together. A will? Well, okay. I called the lawyer I had been working with. My father-in-law had entrusted his will to that lawyer beforehand. The lawyer arrived at the house and read the will aloud. All my assets are to be given to my daughter-in-law Angela. I will not leave a single penny to my son Rob or my wife. What? What does this mean? That's right. How do we know this is really what Dad wrote? Angela, were you just being nice to Dad for the money? What kind of daughter-in-law are you? Pretending to have no interest in money. That's not true. I helped him write the will because he asked me to. About 2 weeks before he passed away, but my opinions were not reflected in it at all. See, you probably wrote it yourself. If I had known you were this kind of wife, I wouldn't have married you. That's not true. As proof, the lawyer here was also present. I indeed witnessed it with my own eyes. Also, just in case, I recorded a video of the will being written and have saved the data. That can't be. But maybe the old man was senile. Maybe Angela made him write it. That's not the case, Rob. Are you aware of your father's disease? ALS makes the body stiffen and become immobile, but the brain remains normal. He didn't become senile, so he understood everything you two were saying right up until the end. He was even reviewing documents concerning his work. If you doubt it, shall we ask his doctor? It might be possible to get a medical certificate verifying his cognitive functions were intact. That means, all the bad things we've been saying. He understood all of them. That's why I told you not to say such things in front of him. Also, apart from the will, I have a letter for you too from him. Thank you for everything you have done for me. I've long known that you did not think highly of me. To Rob. Even though I told you to study, you just played and your academic performance was low. And you had little consciousness of becoming a president. I tried to change your mind, but now I think it was impossible. I hear the company is also declining. After discussing with various people, I have decided to dismiss you from the presidency. This decision was made under my authority as the representative. And it has already been approved by the council and shareholders. The next president will be entrusted to Vice President Simpson. What the hell is that? This is invalid. I'll continue reading. Ignoring the flustered Rob, the lawyer started reading the rest of the letter. You have always been lavish with money and never did any household chores, just played around. I understood from the beginning of our marriage that you married me for money. However, I had to marry because of my position as president. And also because you were the daughter of someone I owed a favor to. I'm leaving you no money. You also have no rights to this building, so please leave. How dare he? Give me back my 40 years. Additionally, here are documents approved at the executive meeting about Rob's dismissal as president. Please swear that you will not be involved in the company management anymore. What are you saying? This is definitely invalid. What authority does that old man have? He's not even the president. While you were given the position of president, he was always involved in company management as its representative. He was watching the management situation and your performance as president all this time. The lawyer seems to have been consulting on company management for a long time. Documents concerning company personnel indicate Rob's dismissal as president. So, you two have absolutely no inheritance. That old bastard really is the worst. Well, I can start a new business or something. Angela, lend me that $5 million. With that money, I could start 1 or 2 companies. Yes, and if this house becomes Angela's, we can just stay here. It's too big for you to live alone, and we are family after all. I really wanted a luxury high-rise condo, but work comes first, work. I don't really care about the company, maybe I'll do something interesting. Excuse me? Are you misunderstanding something? Rob looked puzzled as I interjected. What do you mean, Angela? Rob, please divorce me. What are you saying all of a sudden? I presented the divorce papers, and Rob, face turning red, slammed his fist on the desk. Are you planning to run off with the money, you thief? Pretending to be nice to a dying old man and taking his property, you think that's acceptable? I don't want to be told by someone who told your father, who was physically incapacitated, that it would be better if he died sooner. I've had enough of you too. It's impossible for me to continue living together with you. I will be divorcing you. What are you saying? How are we supposed to live without you? What a heartless daughter-in-law. If we lose the house, we'll have nowhere to live. Well, why don't you look for a new apartment? You two have savings, right? That is? Then you won't have any problems. Please leave this house immediately. As I said that, Rob visibly began to panic. Wait, it's impossible to leave right now. Angela, let's talk. This big house and $5 million are too much for you, aren't they? You weren't interested in money, right? That's right. I have absolutely no interest in money. But I don't want to give you a single penny. Please, I'm really in trouble. I'll work and pay it back. Angela, I don't believe you have the capability. Since you became president, the company's sales have drastically decreased. Also, due to your arrogant attitude, employees are dissatisfied, leading to resignations and being poached by rival companies. I don't think someone like that is fit to be the president of a respectable company. Even though you don't know anything. Are you going to hit me? If you do, I'll call the police. Rob clenched his fist, ready to strike, but restrained himself, his face turning red with frustration. Angela, let's think it over. Rob didn't mean to do anything bad. It was just hard for him suddenly becoming the president. I'm sorry, but I have no intention of reconsidering. Please leave immediately. Please, let's work something out. I'll even agree to a divorce. Just lend me a little money. I've said it many times, I have no intention of giving you money. That's a problem. I don't have savings. You don't have savings? Even though you were the president? Weren't you receiving a considerable amount for not doing much work? Yes, but I spend it all on gambling. What? I had no idea he was doing such things. So please, I don't have savings. Then you should ask your mother. No matter what you say, I have no intention of helping you too. I don't have savings either. Why not? Weren't you receiving several thousands of dollars every month from your husband without doing anything? That money would vanish with just one bag purchase. I was so appalled I couldn't say anything. In the end, I resolutely refused to listen to the two of them and kicked them out of the house. I asked the lawyer to proceed with the divorce proceedings. Although Rob was reluctant until the end, he finally agreed tearfully. I was free at last. The two of them started a new life by selling off the luxury items they had scattered around, such as cars and watches, and somehow managed to get some cash. However, perhaps due to their ingrained habit of luxury, they soon borrowed money again and ran out. They tried to contact me to ask for a loan, but I haven't received any contact. I had arranged for all communications to go through my lawyer. I have declined all contact from my ex-husband. I sold the house, which had many memories but was too large for me. Thus, my ex-husband doesn't even know where I am living now. I've heard rumors that they've borrowed money from dangerous places and are being chased for repayment, but I don't know the truth. Well, I'm not interested though. I inherited a vast fortune and used that money to buy an apartment. Then I renovated it slightly to create a dormitory where poor students could live comfortably. I thought about providing opportunities for those who can succeed through effort, even without money. Good morning, Angela. Work hard on your studies. I have a test today. Man, I didn't get to sleep last night. That's tough. I'll have something delicious ready for you. Wow, thank you. Okay, I'll do my best. With that, the students headed off to university. They are mostly from ordinary families from rural areas or are financially disadvantaged. But they are hardworking and diligent in their studies. I decided to use the rest of my life to support those students who are pursuing their dreams and putting in the effort. I offer rent and meals at a bargain price, and I cover the deficiencies with the money I inherited. It seems wasteful that while some, like Rob, can easily become presidents just by being born into the right family, talented young people can't showcase their abilities just because they are poor. As a dorm mother, I support them with meals and other aspects of life. Surrounded by young people, it feels quite refreshing, and it seems to have rejuvenated me. Every day is full of smiles, and I am living a fulfilling life.